My Sindh by Shakuntala Bharvani is a book that presents a unique collection of facts, thoughts, and feelings. Dr. Bharvani is a professor of English and a well-known writer. She's been a Fulbright scholar, a novelist, and one of those rare intellectuals who have studied both at Oxford and Cambridge. She's a voracious reader, and one of the subjects close to her heart is the study of Sindh. And in this, she was encouraged by her husband, Indu Bharvani, whom she affectionately refers to as IRB in this book. Her book has family stories skillfully woven together with historical facts, some amusing encounters, and information about Sindhi society, Sindhi language, and culture, all written in a simple and engaging style. I enjoyed the book very much and also enjoyed working with Shakun to produce it during the lockdown. I asked her what got her started on this book to begin with, and here's what she told me.
Actually, I was in the US on a Fulbright teaching stint, and I realized I had arrived at the wrong time because just 2 days after I arrived, the World Trade Center bombing happened, and I was on the spot. I was petrified. I was to begin my teaching, but of course, I couldn't do anything for a week. Finally, when things became better, I visited the university. I started by visiting City University of New York. And the first thing that I saw as I entered the premises was the bulletin board. And on that bulletin board, there was a map of Baluchistan showing Afghanistan, Quetta, and several other places. I looked at it and I was amazed because when I saw Quetta, I knew I had been born in Quetta, but I had no idea why we had left Quetta, what had happened. Just below that map, there was a little caption: anyone knowing Pashto and Urdu should report in room number 1. This was the time when I thought, oh my God, I wish I knew Pashto. My father knew Pashto. I had heard him speak it so often to the fruit vendors in the New Market in Kolkata, to friends who sometimes visited us. And I wondered, why did he know Pashto? Where did he learn Pashto? I began to ask my brothers, my older cousins, and then I learned that they had been in Quetta, in Baluchistan, where people spoke Pashto, and my father and other members of the family also knew Pashto. And I began to look back, understand my roots, and it was amazing because suddenly it dawned upon me that this was something I had to do. I had studied Keats and Wordsworth, and where Wordsworth was born, where Keats was born, being a professor of English and reading English literary texts for the major part of my life. So I started reading about Sindh, and the first thing that I did during the COVID period when I had time to ruminate and meditate was to take out my collection of books on Sindh, and I began to read. And I decided I had to let people know, young people know, what their roots were. So this was what started me off on this journey. And of course, it was great knowing SARS because I wrote a few essays and then she prodded me and questioned me. And that was when I began to venture further and further into my roots. That's how the book was born.
One of my favorite parts of this book is when Shakun tells us about a visit she made with her husband to his nani. And I requested her to read it.
In this essay, I recollected nostalgic memories of visiting my husband's nani, 70-year-old Mrs. Saraswati Hasumal. She always reminded me of a beautiful Begum with her orangey brown, carefully hennaed hair and her surma lined eyes. She looked like a Begum from a Mughal miniature style painting. Here she recalls all her ailments and her illnesses, and I found these are very common with aging Sindhi women. I'll just read a small excerpt. I am not well, Putter. I have so much monj and seko. What do you eat in the mornings, Nani? Oh, after reading my Granth Sahib, I only have one katori of dry fruits, one katori of suji ka sira, and 2 tablespoons of sacha ghee. Sometimes I have half a papad. Oh, but Nani, that is too much. No, no, Putta, it is prasad only. My body needs this oil. In Karachi, my friends Khanam and Razia and Yasmin, they would also send me some khirni or some nice sweets, and I would have that. Nani, you have to change your diet. No, I have so much golden mesur. Only I know how much I suffer. Nani, I shall send you my physiotherapist from the Bhatia hospital, and he will show you how to do some exercises. No, no, no exercise, Putta. How can I do jumping and tippas like you? Allah, I have so much lingan mesur. How I suffer. Nani, you must really change your habits. I have too many problems. How can I change my habits? पेट तो साफ कौन थो अच्छे, and my stomach feels painful and bloated. Nani, I will send you papaya and some fruits. No, 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 Putta, no papaya. It is too garam. In Sindh, where did we eat papaya? We never ate that fruit. But in the evenings, I feel much better. Much better. How is that, Nani? Oh, I have a chukri in my little silver glass. A nice chukri. And that Shanti, my Mui maid, who knows no Shanti, she gets me my chilam, and sometimes I quietly send her down to get me a bidi from the panwala. पोइ तो सब हजम थो थी वञे, and I feel much better. You know my grandmother? Of course you don't remember her, you were too small. She also used to have her chukri in that nice large silver glass, and her chilam and her biri. But here we have too many problems. But promise me, Nani, you will have some fruit. No, no, Putta, all these problems have come to us after partition. We never had these problems in Sindh. After coming here, even your grandfather, your Nana, you know how ill he became? He could hardly stand. He didn't want to move. Okay, now Putta, you go with your Kwan, your bride. Enjoy yourself. Have a nice time. I will have my chukri and lie down. And then Nani lay down like a beautiful Begum dreaming of her happy days in Karachi. Thank you.
There are other funny stories and a lot of interesting history too in this delightful book. It's available on Amazon or you can get it from the publisher, Black and White Fountain.